Oh, it's the wrong screen. Great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We've never had a technical difficulty as long as we've ever streamed before. I know it's a flex to say that. Not once. Never had it. Hi, everyone. We've got a really great interview for you. For the next hour, we'll be chatting to the Jeff Hayes, who has voiced so many, if not every single, bar like two, characters in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series that we have been tackling this year at Maude's Book Club. Now, we've interviewed Matt Dinneman when we were covering books 1 and 2, the author of the series, but I have not stopped hyping you up to anyone who has a set of ears and the ability to listen, because what you have done with this series has just pretty much revolutionized, I think, how you can experience books. And I've had such a blast. I'm just going to move that in the middle so it's there we go. I've had such a blast. And I do have to shout out my friend Claire Grant, Seth Green's wife, who fell in love with this series and powered through it and would text me every other day saying, have you listened yet? Have you listened yet? I got around to it. I remember listening to Carl and I was like, this is a choice. This character is a choice. And within about 30 minutes, 3 pages, whatever that would equate to, I was like, I will never hear anyone else as Carl as long as I live. How did you discover Carl's voice? Because there is this comparison to Patrick Warburton. It does sound like you're doing almost an impersonation of him, but then you hear Carl talk to... Never mind, that's a spoiler. We haven't gone there yet. Right. But
can't talk about it. Okay.
No.
All right. We're your guys. You're
1, 2, and 3. That's it.
So yeah, I'm sorry. Come on, camera. Really, I'm not.
There you go.
Right. So yeah, that's hitting the nail right on the head. When I started reading the book, and by the way, it was not like a thing that was set up that I was going to narrate this book. At the time when I accepted the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook, I was just riding along, doing my thing, being a narrator and, slowly building up my company. And Matt Dinneman has always been this author in the lit RPG genre that's always been in my peripheral vision, at least because he always had such interesting concepts, and he always seemed to be like just one of those authors who was right outside of the mainstream of the genre. And those are the kinds of guys that I'm most interested in. Yeah, you make the most money working with the guys right in the middle of the stream, but as an artist, I'm much more interested in the people who are stretching and trying new things. And so when Dungeon Crawler Carl came to us at Soundbooth Theatre Live, which is actually the namesake of my company. I started this. I named my company after the stream that I started, which was Soundbooth Theatre Live. That's like a request show. People request things for me to narrate, and I narrate them live. It's fun. But Dungeon Crawler Carl got requested. I'm assuming by Matt, but it could have been by anybody who's a fan of mine and a fan of his. It came over, and it was my first... Do you think it was Matt?
Do you think Matt planted this? Matt? Are you watching? Did you start this? We're also here getting a little bit of feedback. Your volume level's a little low. I've maxed you as much as I can this end. Lucky he's an audio engineer, and we can... It's Discord as well.
How's this?
Oh, wow.
Much better?
That's great.
Less? More?
Love it. Two thumbs.
All right, so so it got requested. I think it was maybe the first Soundbooth Theatre Live I did in this house. And I had Annie Ellicott over at the time. I had her over at the time. And then Gary Furlong was also joining us, and he was remote. And so I narrated it right then and there, and I always read cold, but as soon as I started reading the text and I saw the cover, I was like, I would cast Patrick Warburton as this guy. So let's try that. And it worked. It worked great. To me, he's always been the typecast of like kind of gentle giant, chill dude who will fuck your shit up if you... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, fuck that shit up.
Okay, yeah, fuck that shit up. He'll fuck your shit up if you mess with him, like Brock Samson, right? The Tick, all these different archetypes, or that one archetype is just so solid. He just owns that space. So I was like, this is a no-brainer. And it was nice to hear it was nice to see when people were calling it out. It was like, okay, cool. I did a good enough job that people recognize what I was trying to do there. But Carl's voice has evolved since book one. That's kind of what happens with voices. A lot of the time, I'll start with an impression, usually a poor impression, and then it just kind of settles, into who the character is supposed to be eventually.
Because we've done the first three books with Maude's book club, and we're getting stuck into the fourth as we speak. We've got 2 weeks to read this entire book. I think what I would love to hear from you, since you've been evolving this character, what was the biggest difference? Like, can we hear sort of like OG Carl and where you think he is now?
So the old Carl, I think I was really leaning way more into the Patrick Warburton thing, like going more with his cadence, going more with his melody, and a little more of the voice cracking, stuff like that. But then, like, as things kept going, and as I think maybe as the
There it
the
is.
dungeon was getting to him, I think he kind of came inward, and he kind of became less of a showy character, and more of like inside his head, and just done with it all, right? So it
Wow.
actually ended up getting lower. It actually ended up getting lower, and just kind of in his head. So there's less of a performance now, and it's just kind of a guy being himself.
Lord Irk, you will not break me.
You will not break me.
So, a couple of things. First of all, the swear count on my stream, we are up to, I believe it was 618, 619. So, you worried about swearing. 618.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're all right there. Really interesting to see how you did an impression and then you found Carl in that impression. Like, he's now worn, you have lived and walked in his shoe. Sorry, feet.
No shoes.
Feet.
No shoes.
The soles of his feet. I love hearing that evolution, and it's also like a testament to where it can also go. You have incredible range. Like,
Thank you.
If I could just read some of the chat out just from that one little impersonation that we got to see right there. Colleen says, I'm such a huge fan of this Audible. K Fredo just says, ah! Lisa says, oh my God. Game Wizard 001 says, I'm so happy right now. Sprinkles says, cool. Pylang points to his username saying, a gasp. Lisa says, that's amazing. We've also got Sprinkles in the chat saying, can I get a glurp glurp? Which is very important.
Yes, I can do glurp glurps. Glurp glurp!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you gotta embody who's in the audience too. So like, maybe 19 years old, right? Still in the basement, right?
Very much hasn't left the basement as far as I'm concerned with Maestro's audience. Oh gosh, that was so funny.
Oh man, if I don't know if you've checked out the audio immersion tunnel, but we released episode 5 on Tuesday, and we did a commercial for the Maestro's show. It's so good.
Is it
so good? Yeah.
Do you find? Do you write those advertisements? Because I know that, like,
No.
the end, you're not writing those. Who's writing the?
Okay.
Right
At the end of the audiobooks.
Yeah.
At the end of the audiobooks. No, I wrote the very first one at the end of book 1, which was nothing special. It wasn't that funny. It was more like, hey, I'm Carl. Keep an eye out for us doing this in a different way, because we were planning this all the way from the beginning because we loved this series so much. But then I started just poking Matt, being like, hey, write something cool for the end. Come on, man. And he would do it, and they always turned out absolutely perfect. So yeah, it was my idea, but it was his execution as far as with the pen that really made it worth a damn.
Only because book 3 is so fresh in my mind, having just finished it 2 days ago. The end of book 3's Soundbooth Theatre crossover ad talks about Matt's feet. So this is obviously something and like absolutely ripping into Matt. So he's self-deprecating this, and so his character that he's written that you are voicing is making fun of him. Oh. You're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how that
Yeah.
works.
Well, he's making fun of both of us, and Carl has to do it.
Yeah.
That was, it's so. This series is so many layers of meta. That's one thing I love about it too.
So hold on. One of my first questions was, how did you stumble upon this series? You were doing just live cold reads for things, and we think it's Matt, we're starting that conspiracy theory. You've heard it here first. We're locking that in. Put it in front of you, and magic was made. How far have we come since that moment? Because not only have you voiced for audio, for the Audible side of things, but it's absolutely catapulted your company by doing these episodic releases. Let's talk about the evolution that it's had on you.
So yeah, when it first came in, and I can't remember if he had published yet or not on Amazon. I knew that he had been publishing on Royal Road for a little bit. I think it was maybe the end of October that he actually published, so it might have just come out when we did it on our show. And I think when I looked at the numbers, I was like, oh, it's doing pretty good actually, And so I felt safe in like taking the job, but I had no idea. I had no idea it was going to be this huge. It is easily the biggest audiobook I've done, and it's taken us pretty much everywhere. I mean, so we published book one in January of 2021. So it's been not quite 3 years since it's been out, and it's changed everything. It's given us the freedom to do so many things, like outreach with fans, doing more events, like going to Comic-Cons and stuff. Next year we may even like headline an entire convention that I can't really talk about right now, but like my company would or like what we're aiming for is for us to do a big live show where we're doing live, audio drama skits and performing music and everything, and basically being the life of the party for the whole con. It's just, having done Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then people saying, who the hell is this dude?
Yeah.
And then going to my back catalog and finding more and more stuff, it's skyrocketed us. So it's a really big deal. I mean, and we had just launched our own platform. For anybody who doesn't know, we sell audiobooks independently from Audible now. We have almost, I think, maybe 200 titles on our own platform now. And that's a huge deal because Audible takes 60%.
And they're not doing anything about that. And I feel like I'm streaming on Twitch right now, and every subscriber, it's 50%,
Yeah.
And it's just Amazon's gleping their little faces off.
They really are. Especially since, we pay for production. Right? Like we put the whole thing together. We send it over to them. They have a clerk like press a few buttons, and 2 hours later it's on their platform. And they don't promote or anything. Now, just recently that may change. There's some people I may be able to talk to now finally.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Because at the moment,
but it's kind of too late. Also, because I've spent all this money and time on our own platform. It's like, why would we? What do you have to offer anymore?
Well, what I love about what you're doing with Soundbooth Theatre, and it's kind of what I'm trying to do with Maude's Book Club as well, is that new and indie book writers and authors, the book publishing industry as we know it is almost hurting itself at this stage, and there is so much of an ask for anyone who wants to create, whether it is being an author. They have to be their own social media team. They have to be their own marketing team. And with platforms like Amazon, they put a lot of stack into how many reviews you get. They really do count those 5-star reviews. And some people have, tried to gamify that system. And it's like, it leaves a lot of potential for people to either build up the people that they love, but also destroy the people that they're not championing. So if you're doing content that people don't love, like they can tank your stuff. So that's a really hard thing to do as well. And I love the fact that you are really focused on indie publishers. And instead of going to like the big publishers, you're really trying to cut out sort of a niche there where both sides really benefit from this. Tell me a little bit more about not only building out all the authors, I think I counted over 70 on your website, but you're also building out the narrators as well. So you're building this entire audiobook ecosystem. I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, I think it all just boils down to philosophy. I don't think that this company has ever had a specific direction that we're going. The platform was like when we put up the platform, we had made the decision like 6 months before we did it. And it was like, it was one of those things where I'm like looking at the environment and looking at the way that authors are talking about Audible and the way that people are constantly complaining about the royalty rate, constantly complaining about, from the listener's standpoint, always having to just have to buy credit every month, even if they don't want something, even if it's been months since they listened to an audiobook. If they want to keep their subscription, they just have to keep buying the audiobooks. And then the credit system is like, okay, now that system is focusing purely on length. Now the value of an audiobook is literal quantity rather than, the quality of the composition. And there's no real scaling of the price, right? Yeah, you could buy cash, but like people are kind of just trained to buy with credits. So it's that convolution of the market, convolution of pricing, and just the obscuring of how the listener interacts with the book itself, that I just don't like. I don't like the whole attitude. I don't. I understand why they did it that way. I understand the desire to scale up so hard and so fast, but personally, that's against my own beliefs, my own philosophy when it comes to business and when it comes to economics and when it comes to, interacting with people and just having pure transactions between myself and the people that are listening to my products. I want things to be transparent. You pay this much for this product. Done. Right? Like you can judge whether it's worth that on your own. But I don't want to like cover it up with, oh well, but if you buy this many coins from me and then you spend this many like no, I don't want you to have to do a math problem while you're buying things. Do you
Or a
have enough? Is that
subscription.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sign
exactly.
up here. Give us all of your credit card details. Hopefully forget
So
about
many,
that. Us and we'll take
yeah,
your money. Yeah.
so many subscriptions everywhere. And then you look at like what streaming has done to the film and TV market. It's
Yeah.
like it's a race to the bottom when it comes to prices. If everyone is just purely trying to scale up. And guess what? There's no way that they can keep up that pace without leveraging themselves to the hilt
Yeah.
every year, right? Like they must have just a constantly growing deficit. And I hate debt. My company has zero debt.
Hey, well done.
Everything is done with cash, right? We don't overextend ourselves. We do silly crazy shit that, doesn't make money a lot of the time, but we don't do it beyond our own means, and
Mm.
we don't do it in a way that requires that we have to borrow because that's just an endless cycle.
Yeah.
That just means you must grow or you will start to lose customers, you will start to lose what made your company great in the first place. So to me it's just been my philosophy. Okay, let's be responsible fiscally. Let's treat our authors really well, right? Like let's recognize where they are positioned in the market and recognize, okay, they can just buy their audiobook, buy the service from a narrator who will just do the job and move on. It's so much cheaper and they get so much more money per per copy once they've paid back that investment, right?
Yeah.
So for a lot of authors it's a no-brainer. Just hire an independent narrator or go with Podium, Tantor, Recorded Books, go with any of those guys, and you don't have to think about it at all,
But you also roll
right?
the
And
dice.
but you also roll the dice, and I to me, just from an outside perspective, I don't see a whole lot of care from the producers in the
And
bigger companies.
a narrator can make or break a book. I read a lot of reviews where it's like, I really liked the book, but this character fell flat. I mean, I was listening to a New York Times best-selling book, and they expanded the voice cast from one person to have 6 different people, and 2 of them, when you have someone who's really good, you can tell right next to the person who's phoning it in.
Hmm.
And that quality. And that's what was so amazing about what you brought. It was just such quality and care, and it was so well done. Um, I had to stop the chapters of those narrators to read the book so that it
Mm.
wouldn't harm the words that I was reading. And I've always had this philosophy with narrators, because I definitely moved into audiobooks from about 2017 and quadrupled the amount of books that I was consuming over the course of a year. And I've always said that, you know, yes, you can read the words, but it's about telling a story. And that's the
Hmm.
basic difference between a narrator. Are you reading words or are you telling a story? And I always thought a great example of a brilliant narrator was James Masters, because he's an actor. And
Hmm.
so he would
Yep.
learn about, why is this character feeling this? What are the emotions that I need to be sharing here? And then you fucking come along, and I was like, right, I know I've said that James Masters is the best audiobook narrator for the last 5 years, but Jeff Hayes is the best I
Thank you.
have ever heard. And like, the fact that Matt's writing is fantastic. You truly do bring such amazing work to this. But I went on a tangent there. I would love to go back to the very beginning of how you became a voice actor. I heard that you fell into this industry as a bid to not get a 9 to 5 job. How's that going for you?
Well, my wish came true, I guess. But now I am absolutely exhausted all the time.
Yeah, because it's not 9 to 5 anymore. It's 8:30 p.m. where you are, isn't it, right now?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is, and
Thank you.
well, wait, hold on a second. No, 7:30. Sorry,
7:30.
it's
Okay.
7:30 here. But yeah, owning a business is so much more work,
Hmm.
and it's so much more responsibility. I set my career up this way. At the time when I first started, I was kind of just figuring out voice acting. I was on voices.com, like getting like really crappy jobs,
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah. Hey, you got to be there. You got to
Yeah, but
start the ladder at the bottom rung, man. You can't skip because that's where you get your chops.
that's
That's
true.
that's how you build your chops. That's how you cut your teeth,
But you were
right?
doing
By getting
commercials, like,
Yeah, but they were like internet commercials and they
yeah.
paid like $200 to $600 and yeah, it'd be like an hour, 2 hours of work maybe. And that sounds great, except you're not counting all the auditioning that you're failing to get the jobs from. And that was 99% of the work back then,
Yeah.
is me failing to land auditions, right? So it's still way less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just starting off, right?
And that platform
But
actually shows you your ratio of how many auditions you submit and how many you book as well. And you were
mhm,
saying it would take about 100 auditions to land maybe 1 to 2 jobs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Whew.
that's correct. So it was grueling, and I was living paycheck to paycheck at the time. But when I found audiobooks, it was night and day because all that work didn't go in the trash,
Mm.
right? Someone was actually going to listen to it, and yeah, I was doing a lot more work per hour, per money or per dollar
Yeah.
while I was doing the job, but I had to audition way less.
Mhm.
So it more than made up for it. Um, and I found out I could get royalties then through ACX, and that's when things just took off because, of course, I took the first 10, maybe 20 jobs. I made zero money in royalties because they were books by authors no one's heard of, then whose books weren't selling, right? Um, but again, I got to cut my teeth, right? And no matter what, I always had the attitude I want the person listening to this audiobook to be impressed at least with the performance, even if they hate the book, and to search my name,
Mm.
right? Because over time, it's just like instead of collecting paychecks, I'm collecting assets, right? I'm putting assets into a portfolio. They stick around, and whether they collect tiny bits or a lot, it all it all adds up. And that's how I was able to start this company, just by betting on myself and not being content to be a jobber.
Mm.
I didn't want this to be a job. I wanted to be my craft, and I wanted to be accountable for my performance both ways.
I heard you
I
say
wanted to
that.
be pushed out of the industry if I sucked. I wanted that because I don't want to peddle nonsense. I don't want to peddle bad product to people.
You reap what you sow. Yeah.
Right. So
With your range, because you pretty much voice every single character, and they're so unique and distinct, which is really difficult to do. Has this sort of opened doors into getting into different formats of voice acting, video games, um, movies, anime,
I'm sure
animation?
I'm sure that I could do that. If I just talked to an agent, showed them what I'm doing, they'd be like, "Holy shit!" And they'd take that and run with it. I don't have time for that shit. Like I would love to, but I know, those industries at this point compared to what the money I make now, it would be not worth my time,
Right.
So it would be fun. I love playing video games. I've always dreamed of being in like a Bethesda game, like that'd be so much fun, right? Because I've put so many hours into playing Skyrim,
Yeah.
like, and I recognize all those people's voices, and I've talked to so many people in that game, and it's just, yeah, it would be great, but I can't put on yet another hat. I
Right.
have to stop myself.
Oh, it must be horrible being so good at everything. Great problem to have, I'll say that. What we do here at Maude's Book Club is a member's perk is to be able to directly ask the interviewee questions. So I would love to go through some of these questions with you because we are getting stuck into Dungeon Crawler Carl and how it all began. So we've got a few questions here. Vaden asks, how do you keep track of all the voices that you do, and how do you get into character? Do you find it useful to change posture or maybe remember a particular moment of them?
Yeah, I mean, everything they've already listed are bookmarks in my mind. Posture is incredibly important when it comes to voice acting. Um, and not I don't just mean my own, like standing posture and how you hold your body, but how your posture within your instrument as
Mm.
well. Um, One thing that's interesting about voices, one thing I've noticed over the past decade now, is that people don't sound that much different from each other. We all pretty much have the same thing in there. It's just, where did we start when we started talking, when we found a surface that made us comfortable,
Mm.
and where did we just, like, that's just where we kept using our vocal cords. There's so many different surfaces that make sounds within us. So, you know, that actually speaks to your character too, right? Like, what's going on within your throat is like kind of how you're holding your own person. So it's weird. It's weird, but people's voices, like, there's something to it. There's a match happening there. Um, and people, it's kind of surprising how much alike, like, impressions, right? Why is it that two different voice boxes can produce the same
Mm.
voice? Well, because they're not that different. That's the actual answer, is just how are you using it? How do you get used to it? So it's all about how you hold yourself, and of course, body. too, right? Like leaning forward, leaning back. These are all different attitudes that just bring it out of you. It's um, so when I think of a character, that's what I'm thinking of usually. I'm visualizing. I'm seeing the scene in my mind. I'm
Hmm.
sure so many of you, when you read books, uh, and of course there's some people who this doesn't happen with, but I think
Aphantasia.
yeah, yeah.
Shout out.
Uh, but when you read books, often you see all the things that are with a good author, of course. You see everything that's happening in the scene, and like you get a picture of the characters, and often we'll like cast Hollywood actors as these characters, and that happens to me too, right? And that's sometimes like Patrick Warburton, where these choices come from. I don't know how many movies and TV shows and video games I've watched and played. All of that stuff is in my head. All of that stuff is somewhere in there. And if I read a character, something will like awaken something in my head that remembers that one performance from some character in some obscure movie that I saw a long time ago. It'll just come out and say, "Oh, this is the one. This is the decision," and I just go with it.
We know
Um,
Patrick Warburton was a big one for Carl. Was there any others that were inspired that you kind of drew upon for inspiration, like Donut?
Donut, I have no idea.
Where did
Like,
that come from?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've watched a lot of English TV. So I've seen quite a few sort of diva type characters in those shows, and it just it's a mixture of all of them. I'm sure I really can't pinpoint anybody. I
Wow.
can't name anybody for Donut. And honestly, I don't see anybody but a smush faced
Mm.
turtle, tortoiseshell Persian cat.
Yeah,
Like I see Donut when I do her voice, and there's no other you know that's all I need. I just see her.
that's amazing. Everyone's saying Donut's voice is perfect. What is the posture that you assume to get to do
Oh,
it?
she's definitely more like this,
So that's how
like
you'll do it?
yeah, yeah. My shoulders come back a little bit, my chest comes up, and a little bit of that nose.
Uh-huh. Because
uh
you do live cold reads when you've done it, especially since, what was it, book 5? The first 4 books you read, and then by book 5, schedule's packed, you decide to press the
yeah,
record button and let people into the process of cold
yeah.
read recording. What is that like? Does that not add like another level of pressure to read and perform with an audience?
It used to
Yeah.
years ago. Now I don't even. It's so reflexive. Cold reading for me now, it's like I don't even think about it as a thing that's difficult or to be nervous about in any way. It's just I know how to do this. Like you show me letters, I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
I just go into the mode. I d- I don't know. Almost feel like I'm a different entity when I'm here in front of
Mm.
this microphone and I'm engaged with a piece of text. Like I'm not even there. That's it's. I'm not going to say autopilot because um, I can tell, like when I'm listening to myself when I'm on autopilot.
Hmm.
But it is definitely completely instinctive and just reactionary to what I'm reading. And I think narrating's actually really helped my reading comprehension as well.
I bet.
You
Yeah.
know, when I'm reading a novel now, I miss a lot of stuff. When I'm narrating a novel, I understand pretty much every single word that's coming out of my mouth.
Mm.
It's just become a part of me now, and it's become a crutch, to be honest. If I were ever to be called upon to do like screen acting of some kind, I'd be sweating because I have to memorize things, and I'm bad at that.
Ah,
I
right.
I can hardly tell you the names of a lot of the people that I talk to, like not forget characters in books. My memory is just not that great when it comes to this stuff. So if I don't have the script in front of me, I might be in trouble. Even improv, I'm not that great.
Oh. I do have a question. When you're reading cold and you're going in between two characters having a conversation, how is that flow going like? It's not like you have to go into Carl, then go into Donut, then you can switch effortlessly between the two?
Yeah, again, it's not something I was aiming for. It's just what I thought what I was supposed to do when I first started doing audiobook narration. I was like, oh, well, yeah, okay, if this is a conversation that needs to sound like two different people, and I don't have a whole lot of time, I can't like go into the zone with this character, record
Mm.
all their stuff, and then go off and meditate and clear that person out of my head, and then shove the new person in, and then come back and perform against this other person. No, there's no time for that. So it was just a gradual process of me um, switching back and forth between the characters as I went. I would say one thing that might help other people that helped me quite a bit, that again, it wasn't intentional, it just happened to go this way, is I switched tracks in my digital audio workstation between characters. So what that means is, like, for instance, Donut and Carl are on two different tracks in the audio program. So, like, you can add effects to Donut's track and it'll affect all of her lines
Mm.
and it won't touch Carl's lines, right? And so they both have slightly different EQs. They both I don't put any effects on either of them, but like Donut's EQ just has a higher bass cut, so you don't get as much of the bass resonance from my chest
Mm-hmm.
in the recording. Very like I want to over engineer everything, so this is just the way I work. But when I'm making the switch, I'm hitting a button. So I think that my mind has kind of like associated itself. I think it's kind of connected itself to these buttons. So when I push that button, it just happens in
Magic
my head.
trick. Someone
Yeah.
else. I have a
Yeah.
question because I know that you do use effects on these characters. AI has an effect on it. What does AI sound like without the effect on it?
Oh, it's just like this, like a carnival barker. It's really a pure sound without that distortion. Actually, what you're hearing is called chorus, which is
Oh.
yeah, it's not technically distortion. It's basically doubling the sound and layering it
Ah.
so close that it adds, like, I don't know, like a metallic echo kind of thing. But
Ah.
I use that for almost all AI in lit RPGs. No
Got
matter
it.
what the voice sounds like, it's just I just want it to sound digital,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
And like
That's
with the
that's
when
all
the
that's all
AI
it's
is
about.
processing, like that sort of like
Right.
digitized robotic. Yeah, adds so much
Yeah.
flavor to it.
And the AI is another voice that's evolved a lot
Go on,
since
before
the
and
beginning.
after. Show us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the AI started with me trying to do an impression of, like, the announcer from Wheel of Fortune
Oh
or
my,
The Price is Right.
do you know who I
That's
thought it
how
was?
that's how
I
it
thought that
started.
was Will Wheaton. I thought it was Will Wheaton. I was like, what's Will
Yeah.
doing in this? So was that a subconscious thing maybe?
No, 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 not Will Wheaton. No, I was thinking of The Price is Right. That's actually what it was.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's how it started.
So that's how it started, and then it just sort of got creepier and, like, higher pitched and a little more, impish.
Yeah, because of the feet
Um,
stuff. That's fair.
right, right, right. So I didn't mean to do that. That's the AI wanted to be that way.
Because this
you
is
know,
so fascinating to see. What's Donuts? Has Donuts changed much?
Donuts hasn't changed much, no, darling. You know, I feel like I nailed her quite easily from the beginning. Of course, um, I think my voice has actually changed just in composition. I've been getting older, of course. I'm 36 now. I was 33 when I started. So, I Donut probably sounds a bit higher pitched in the first book than
Uh-huh.
she does now. But I think I just do prefer everybody's voices now as they've
Mm.
as they've evolved, because it's through the trials and tribulations that those characters have gone through.
They've seen some shit.
They have.
They've done some
Indeed.
shit.
Hmm.
Who is your favorite character to voice?
In Dungeon Crawler Carl,
Yeah.
Carl.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh, Yeah, he's first of all, I relate most to his character out of anybody. Second of all, it's just a challenge. It's probably one of the hardest voices that I do in the series,
Mm.
and I have to narrate with it, right? So, uh, because of that, I don't have a whole lot of stamina on a daily basis compared to just narrating with my normal voice. With my normal voice, I can maybe do 3 to 4 finished hours in a day. So that's like 6 to 7 hours actually recording.
Wow.
Whereas with DCC, it's more like 4 to 5 hours in the studio before my voice is just like, nah, stop. You can't anymore.
But well done,
It
though.
just gets worn out. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carl's helped me develop my lower range too.
It goes deep.
Yeah,
I don't even think I can get there. No, I can't. Okay, that's fun. Um,
close, not too bad.
I'll take it coming from the expert here. How did music, this is from Vaden as well, how did music inspire your passion for voice acting?
I mean, sound is sound, man.
Mm.
And here's the thing: if you can move people with abstract sounds, that's what music is. There's no there like what does an A sound like in what is an A? It sounds like nothing. It sounds like
Well, you're asking an
maybe an
Australian here.
emotion,
A. Oh,
right?
A the note
No,
or
no, the A the
A?
note, C the note, D sharp the note. What does it sound like?
Yeah.
It doesn't have
Whoops.
an analog in reality. Maybe a color. There's some
Mm,
people that associate color in their minds with different notes and different keys. But even then, what is color, right?
yeah.
It's just a different configuration. It's a different wavelength. And so if you can move people with these abstract sounds, then you have like kind of a cheat sheet. You
I
kind of
would call it
have
a
this gateway into people.
superpower.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but it's just about listening, and listening really is the key skill in narration, in acting, in voice acting at all. It's how much of people have you absorbed through your ears. How much of that's stored, and when you listen to yourself, do you convince yourself,
Mm.
right? And that's my goal as a voice artist, is to trick myself into not hearing myself when I'm
Yeah.
listening to myself, right? I want to hear the characters. I don't want to hear me. So if I can fool myself, I've succeeded.
I feel like that's the antithesis of so many narrators, though, who will barely adjust what their natural voice is able to provide to distinctualize characters, whereas
Hmm.
we don't even know what your anchor is. It goes so far in so many different directions that, like, I didn't know what your normal voice was until I watched an interview to prepare for this. It's
Hmm.
just like it's an audio chameleon for sure. It's great. Lisa asked, what character from Dungeon Crawler Carl's your favorite to voice? You did say Carl. You said Carl.
Hmm.
I was going to say, and why is it Donut? Which character do you have the most fun? I'll tweak the question.
Yeah, then it would be Donut,
Yeah.
because Matt just makes her say the most amazing things.
Yeah.
That's the key to the series. People give me a lot of credit for this series, but man, Matt makes it so easy. Th- that's my dream when being a narrator, is finding authors who get it, in my opinion, and who can make my performance effortless. I don't have to think at all when I'm narrating Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's just automatic. I know exactly what Matt means.
Mm.
Whereas I've narrated plenty of books I really hated by authors who don't know how to write, and I have to do a lot of creative work to figure out how to make this actually entertaining, or get across the point they're trying to get across.
Got it.
You know,
Mm.
with Matt, it's effortless. So yeah, I mean, maybe I'm bringing it to life for you, but it's all his blueprints, man. Like, and he's I gotta say, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so proud to be working with an author who I hope the world will hand much more success to. whether it's Dungeon Crawler Carl or whatever other project he comes up with, because he's just got that creative mind, and he wants people, he wants to stretch people's imagination, and he wants people to think, I think, when they're reading his stuff.
Whilst also
And
like bathing in nerddom.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
It's just so fun to be a nerd with these books.
Yeah,
which I love.
absolutely.
Robin's got a question for you. Do you ever feel like Matt just puts things in the book to mess with you?
I don't need to feel that. He tells me to my face.
What are some of the things that he's done?
Okay, so the first thing I can think of is Sorendilgore.
Yeah.
I think he specifically spelled that, made that character's name that, so that I would struggle with it. Another thing he did, because so I guess fans pointed out, or maybe I don't know if Matt ever pointed it out to me before. This was actually kind of new information to me. Uh, relatively relatively close to when I first started narrating book 6. I pronounced a city in Washington wrong. What was
Oh
it?
no. Unforgivable.
Yeah. It was like in the first chapter of book 1.
Oh.
Oh man, why am I
Is this
blanking
where
on the
he's
name of it?
from?
No,
Oh.
it's just a place in Washington.
Come
And the
on,
thing is,
chat,
in
do your
Washington,
thing.
yeah, there's a lot of cities in Washington that are really bizarrely spelled and hard to pronounce. So this isn't really much of a spoiler, but
Okay.
in the like the fun end thing at book 6, he gave me a list of all these Washington cities to list, to narrate them and say, oh well, I'm glad Matt didn't make me pronounce this city and this city. So yeah, he definitely did that to mess with me.
The chats come
eh,
through. Is it
mm,
Puyallup?
nope,
Puyallup?
nope.
Yakima?
Yeah, Yakima.
How do you is it
I think I pronounced it like as if it were
Yakima?
Japanese. I think Yakima. Yeah,
Yakima, right.
yeah.
Oh, see, I'm Australian, so I can get away with murder. I will legitimately get a word wrong, and I will say, oh no, my entire country says it that way. And there's always one Aussie. There's always one Aussie's like, no, we don't. I'm like, shut up. Speaking of Australian accents, there's dingoes in this show. There's the crocodilian. There's a couple of Aussie-esque sort of accents here. Now, that's brave, first of all, because the average person should not attempt an Australian accent. Yours is really good. Are you just
thank you.
gifted as a mimic? Can you hear an accent and it just lives forever in your repertoire? Okay, so what did you have to do to land the Aussie?
Well, first of all, I think it's very generous of you to say I landed it, because I feel not great about the Australian accent, about my Australian accent.
I'm the kind of person, I will tell you if it's shit. There was an actor who was in Pacific Rim who was British and he played an Australian, and on the red carpet I said, well, you shouldn't have done that. Or something to that effect. Anyway, we're like close friends now because I gave him absolute shit. So I have no problem serving you.
Okay.
It was good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you very much. I'm gonna give credit to Amy Walker, my accent coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't, I don't think I've done enough accent coaching, but when I'm serious about getting an accent right, I go to her. Amy Walker, she has a company called 21 Accents. She did this viral video like ages ago. I think when I was first coming up, I found her video called 21 Accents, and she did like she can switch through accents like crazy.
I've seen her content on TikTok.
Yeah.
She'll do a phrase and she'll go through each of the places and she'll point and she's like, how you going? Here you going? How are you going? And I'm terrible, but you know what I mean? That's her?
Yeah. That's her.
Wow.
She is brilliant. So if you she knows exactly what's happening in every piece of your body when you're speaking. She knows exactly what you're doing wrong. And she can tell you. And then you make the correction that she tells you to make, and it's magic. So I would say that personally I give myself a B minus when it comes to accents.
Uh-huh.
And Amy is just like A plus all the way. If I want to get anything to an A, I go to her. So Amy Walker, anybody who's interested in taking accent coaching lessons. She also coaches people out of their accents.
Oh,
So like
wow.
if they want to like, assimilate more to wherever they are, right? Then she can teach you how to do that. She can teach you how to get rid of speech impediments sometimes. She can teach you how to even, change your voice a little bit. Like if you feel like your voice is a little too nasal or something, she can
Right.
teach you how to get rid of that.
Well, we've been talking for about an hour now. You've been listening to my accent this whole time. Go on.
You have an excellent Aussie accent, I have to say.
Yay, thank you. I had to stamp it out of me. I used to host Nickelodeon in Australia way back in the
Really?
day, and someone found it, some of the clips and videos that I had done when I was, first television job ever. The way that I sound then, I want to scrape the skin off my body and throw it away. It is so bad. And so being in America for coming on to 11 years now, I have noticed it's rounded out quite a bit so people can actually understand me. Because when I first moved here, people couldn't understand what I was saying. And I'd be like, but we're both speaking English. I don't understand. Hang on, I understand what I'm saying. And they're like, oh, okay. But I was kind of hoping to go through some of the characters and do an Amy Walker and like maybe have like God damn it donut, but having everyone say it. Is that okay? I'm like totally putting you on the spot. I didn't ask about this, but because you brought up that viral video, I was like, the master, the apprentice has become the master or Padawan, depending on which side of the force you sway. But if you were to say God damn it donut, obviously let's start off with Carl.
Okay. God damn it, donut.
Great. As donut.
God damn it, donut.
As Katya.
God damn it, donut.
People are in the chat are putting theirs in. Jay Buntrock says as Agatha.
Oh, Agatha. You know what's funny? I just I only hear Andrea Parsonow's voice in my head now for Agatha. I need to like go back because I cast her as Agatha in the audio immersion tunnel.
She does the kind of squawk laugh. Yeah.
God damn it, donut. That's my best. That's my best guess. I can't remember.
Oh my God. Toaster Poster says pony, please. Prepotente.
God damn it, donut.
Oh my God. It is some of the most laugh out loud best moments when you do Prepotente. It's probably my favorite character that you do. It's so good. What about Zev?
God damn it, donut.
Uh-huh. Okay. Hey, chat, where are we going with these? I have to like think of them all on the spot. Maestro.
Oh shit, what is he? God damn it, donut.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it's been a while since I did his voice. He died early.
What's the woman's name who says kill, kill, kill?
Cascadia.
Yes, Cascadia.
God damn it, donut.
Oh, it's so good. Now, Mordecai is a tricky one because Mordecai changes every year.
Right. Still my favorite is from probably book 2.
Same.
Because like I was kind of, because I was kind of like trying to channel Matthew McConaughey.
Is that it?
Yeah. God damn it, donut.
Fantastic.
He actually does say that too. Does he say it? He says it with that voice.
Oh, he does? 2. You did it.
Right? Because she traps him as the manager.
Oh, yes.
She tricks him, remember?
Yes. Yeah. I love that you're like teaching us. We've just covered the books and you're like, Maude, this is what happened in book 2. Vaden says, have you got Bomo?
God damn it, donut. I don't have the effects, sorry.
Oh, it's so good. That's so great. I just, hearing God damn it, donut, and knowing that it's a catchphrase now against his will, so funny. Obviously this is going to be, Ellie says Danny. Ellie McGibb. Oh my gosh, now they're all coming in.
God damn it, donut.
Oh yeah. There's Odette. Oh, Armani. That's one of my favorites.
God damn it, donut.
See, it's like they're so close, but they're so distinct. and you
Hmm.
can find it. It's like you're in a filing
Yeah.
cabinet and you're like, there it is. That's the
Yeah.
voice.
My voices, like I was saying, my voices, the timbre of the voice, not that different.
Mm.
It's all posture, it's all attitude, it's acting, it's
Do you
and
know about acting?
it's not just a different sound, right? It's interesting how that just works.
Florin, only because of the Australian accent. It's the only way I can get you to do it.
Yeah. God damn it, Donut.
Yay! Yay, Zeb! Thank you so much for that. Hey, listen, one of my final questions, I really want to push this. You're currently having a sale at the moment. Tell us all about this sale that you got going.
All right. Yeah, so we had mentioned the Soundbooth Theatre platform before. That's at soundbooththeatre.com. We have our own app. We have our own market. You can buy things direct from the website, or you can even buy stuff direct from the app. And right now we have 50% off select titles, and we're doing a 12 days of Christmas sale. So every day during the 12 days of Christmas, I know they're supposed to start on the 25th, but we're doing it for the sale so that you can actually get them for Christmas, and you can gift them to people too on our platform.
Oh, that's cool.
So 50% off select titles. Every day we'll reveal a new title that's in the sale. Right now we're at, let's see, 3 Santa Clauses, 2 Dragon Guards, and an Eldritch Horror named Maggie. So we have Kringle Down, which is basically like if Tarantino made a Christmas movie. We have Dragon Guard, which is actually more of a kid's book. It's like uh, teen girl learns how to ride dragons at a dragon riding school. And then the Stars Have Eyes, which is a series by Neven Ilyev, who also wrote Everybody Loves Large Chests. But instead of it being about a sociopathic box, it's about an eldritch horror. It's a romantic comedy. What if Cthulhu was your girlfriend? Basically,
Wow.
is the concept, and that's an entire cinematic series. There's 15 episodes, but you can get all 15 for just $12.50 right now.
Woo!
So those are full cast sound effects and music. That's what we specialize in on the app itself. We do full productions, we do full cast, we put everything that we can into these productions. So yeah, only 3 days of the sale so far. It ends on the 26th. So you just go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, or go, join our Facebook group or our Discord server. You can see every day we're going to be announcing what the next audiobook is that has 50% off.
What's the Discord? Because I know that you're very interactive with the community and have figured out
Yeah.
that if you invest in your community, that's where business becomes something that you love doing. Because
Absolutely.
I mean, I've learned
Yeah,
that firsthand. Yeah.
So Soundbooth Theatre Live with an exclamation point. And again, I started this Discord when, before it was an actual company, right? When Soundbooth Theatre Live was just my streaming show. So Soundbooth Theatre Live, exclamation point, and you can join our Discord server there.
And you can join it in the chat. Amanda, the mod, has put it in there right now for you. You can also click the link to soundbooththeatre.com in that chat as well. Lanius says it's an awesome Discord server. I also had Vaden earlier say, do we know when the new immersion version of the Dungeon Crawler Carl is coming? Because you are releasing those episodically. You can get the first one for free if you want to have a little listen to that one.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick about the Discord server, I do narrate live in there a lot. So I do cold reads on YouTube, and then when I've recorded like 30% of the book there, I don't want to record any more of it. I will just be in one of these things, like just in a voice channel, and I'll narrate in there. And everybody's muted except for me, so you get to just listen and watch me as I work through audiobooks. But as far as the Dungeon Crawler Carl audio immersion tunnel, legally we couldn't call it cinematic audio because Matt has certain rights bought from him. So the audio immersion tunnel's up to episode 5 now. We've been releasing every 2 weeks, but we're delaying 1 extra week for episode 6 because of the Christmas holiday. I want to give my guys some time off. I need some time off. But it continues on January 2nd, I believe. That's a Tuesday. It starts back up January 2nd, and then the last 3 episodes are being released in January.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Everyone, head over there, enjoy the sale, enjoy the releases of the episodes. Listen to the first one for free. So if you love it, get involved. Join the Discord right now. Also, I have, because I took notes when I was listening to one of your interviews, and I have capitalized this question. Which character did you voice as a woman in books 3 and 4 and then realize they were a man in book 5? Who was that?
Oh, no, I can't remember now.
Because you were saying that when you realized that, you just slowly, like we've been talking about book 1 and book 6 voices.
It was one of the cookbook people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was one of the cookbook people.
Okay.
Something that sounds like dragons. Draco.
So it sounded sort of like masculine, and so you gave it that, and then what they
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
she, or
Yeah,
that was like an indication.
I think so. I think it was book 6 that I discovered. I was like, Matt, God damn it.
Drachia is everyone's saying.
Drachia, I think that's who it was. Yeah.
Fantastic. Also, the last thing, what did I have? No, I wanted to push. Oh, that's right. Another great thing that your website has is cassette USBs as merch. Can we please talk about this? Because nostalgia rules. Yes. What do we got here?
Okay, so this is Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, which is, of course, another Matt Dinneman book. We did it full cast sound effects and music. So there is an audible version narrated by Joe Hempel, but this one is absolutely epic. Our goal was to make you barf while you listen to it because it is so disgusting. It is, I like to call it distilled horror, pretty much every genre of horror mashed into one big lit RPG. And no one else has been able to pull off horror lit RPG except for Matt.
Of course.
But yeah, so it's all on this cassette on USB, so you can plug this right into your car, or you can plug it into your computer and actually pull the MP3s off and listen on any MP3 player that you want. And it's even got the cool like spread out jacket here. So like we have all the covers, kind of collaged in there. And you even got the inside insert. So it's just a cool souvenir. It's
awesome.
Something cool to sell to people. That is in our merch store. You can get these T-shirts as well, and or you can pick up a pair of our narration socks.
Yes.
These are socks that give you plus 1 narration skill, as well as a lot of other bonuses. In my opinion, the most valuable bonus you get from the narration socks is the Lego Defense plus 2, essential for parents. So for the holidays, if you want to support Soundbooth Theatre and if you want to be a better narrator, wear these narration socks.
Get the socks. Rock your socks off and then put them back on to narrate. If you do need a great gift for a book lover, having something like that, especially if they're a millennial or even like Gen X and you can get the nostalgia, jump on the site for that one. That's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I was really looking forward to this interview. You did not disappoint. We got through some fantastic questions and I did put you on the spot and you absolutely delivered. Can't wait to put those up on social media.
No problem. Hey, thank you for the invite. Thank you everybody here for going along with this book club, especially you have a great show. I actually have been watching it.
What?
Yeah, I've been watching your show. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'll be releasing this as a full episode if you want to watch it on Twitch in full on VOD, and we should be making it into a podcast. Stay tuned for that one. Have a great holiday.
You too. You too.